All right, guys, so I mentioned this before a few times. One of the things I love the most about the Trump administration was the fact that they were willing to invest in space, right? The Trump administration has basically set NASA back on a trajectory to go back to the moon. I'm a huge believer in investing in space. Now, I do have a ton of issues with what our government spends money on. Space is not one of those things, especially incentivizing the private sector to also explore space and invest in space, because that is the next frontier, guys. And as our population grows on this planet, there will be more problems, and these problems will need to be solved primarily by the private sector. I don't have faith in the government to solve the world's greatest issues. Okay, I have faith in the private sector to do that. Okay, I'm a big believer in technology and innovation. Okay, and one of the things that liberals hate, right? They hate the fact that the government spends money on space exploration, right? They hate that because they see that as, well, we can be using that money to solve problems here on Earth instead of in space. Now, my counter argument to that is that a lot of problems that we have here on Earth have already been solved through space exploration, right? Some of our greatest technologies, guys, have come through the space race, okay? And I believe that companies like SpaceX, Blue Origin, even public institutions like NASA, going to Mars is going to open up a whole new realm of technology and innovation that is going to help solve these issues here on Earth. Now, for whatever reasons, liberals don't buy into that argument. I don't know why, right? And one of the main progressive champions, Bolshevik Bernie, has come out and taken a shot at Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk for quote unquote hoarding wealth, okay? And specifically with Elon Musk, Bolshevik Bernie is going to come after him for investing in space instead of investing in Earth. But before we get in that, my name is Greg Foreman and you're watching A Black Conservative Perspective. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share A Black Conservative Perspective, aka a leftist worst nightmare. You can also follow me on Twitter at gforemanbcp. Let's get it. All right, guys. So Elon Musk spars with Bernie Sanders over his massive fortune. You guys know, every now and then Bernie goes on his Twitter tirade about how we should tax the rich and give it all to the poor. Okay, that's Bernie's thing. Okay, and he does that once again. Elon Musk says he's hoarding wealth for a good cause, but it's not good enough for US Senator Bernie Sanders. The left-wing lawmaker targeted the billionaire Tesla CEO after Musk claimed he would use his giant fortune to support life on other planets. Sanders, a Vermont independent who is a powerful gadfly on the Democrat Party's left flank, first went after Musk last week by pointing out the massive wealth disparity that he and fellow billionaire Jeff Bezos exemplify. Quote, "We are in a moment in American history where two guys, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, own more wealth than the bottom 90% of people in this country," Sanders tweeted on Thursday. That level of greed and inequality is not only immoral, it is unsustainable. The website Clean Technica, which frequently covers Teslas, took umbrage with Sanders' comments in an article calling criticism of Musk over his wealth ridiculous. Musk offered his own defense in response to the article on Twitter, saying his fortune will go towards his spacefaring ambitions. His rocket building company SpaceX wants to land humans on Mars by 2026. Quote, "I am accumulating resources to help make life multiplanetary and extend the light of consciousness to the stars," Musk tweeted early Sunday morning. But that didn't satisfy Sanders, who introduced a proposal last week to hike corporate taxes on companies that pay top executives at least 50 times more than their median workers pay. Quote, "Space travel is an exciting idea, but right now we need to focus on Earth and create a progressive tax system so that children don't go hungry, people are not homeless, and all Americans have health care," Sanders said in response to Musk's tweet. The level of inequality in America is obscene and a threat to our democracy. Sanders also called out Musk last August when he proposed taxing 60% of the wealth that American billionaires gained during the coronavirus pandemic. Musk was worth less than $30 billion at the start of 2020 before his electric car maker's stock price exploded, giving him a net worth of $170 billion as of Sunday, according to Bloomberg's Billionaires Index. Bezos, the Amazon CEO, whose $181 billion fortune is the only one to outrank Musk, has not responded to Sanders' criticism online by Monday morning. All right, guys. So as you can see there, Bolshevik Bernie has once again come after the billionaires for hoarding their wealth, quote unquote, and not paying their fair share. Now, Elon Musk, again, responded to this basically saying, listen, I'm really just hoarding resources so that we can go to Mars, right? Because I'm trying to make life multiplanetary, right? I'm trying to do something beyond what's here on Earth. Now, again, Bernie took issue with this, right? He says that Elon Musk should focus on Earth. But I think what Bernie is missing here, guys, is that Elon Musk is focused on Earth, right? Bolshevik Bernie, for as much as he loves to talk about climate change, right? One of the leaders in helping fight climate change is Elon Musk, right? That's kind of the whole purpose of Solar City, which is a company they had, and Tesla, right? Which makes electric vehicles. Now, some may argue that, you know, some of this stuff may still have damaging environmental effects, but that's not the point. The point is that Elon Musk is doing what Bernie is advocating for already, right? But Bernie is so caught up in his tax the rich ideology that he fails to overlook that Elon Musk is actually one of those billionaires who is trying to do something for the greater good. Okay? And, you know, I know some of you guys probably don't like Elon Musk. You probably think that, you know, he's, you know, I don't know, a plant or, you know, some type of operative, right? I understand, to each his own opinion. But I personally like Elon Musk. Now, I don't agree with all his opinions, but I personally like Elon Musk because I respect people who are at the forefront of innovation in our society, okay? Because these people are changing lives through capitalism. And that's the whole point of being a capitalist, right? That's the great part about capitalism that a lot of these socialists tend to forget, right? Is that we get innovation through capitalism, and our society is better because of capitalism. Yes, capitalism has its faults. Yes, out of control capitalism can have negative effects. But somebody like Elon Musk is not the person Bernie should be going after, okay? And even Jeff Bezos, who has, a lot of wealth too, and there's a lot of criticism of Jeff Bezos, guys. I know a lot of people don't like Jeff Bezos, but he's also taken a lot of his wealth and, he's put it into Blue Origin, which is his space company, right? And guys, like I keep telling you, space is the next frontier. Me personally, I'm trying to get as much exposure to space as I can through investing. There's not too many ways to do it, but you can do it kind of, sort of, right? Because I think that long-term space tourism, space infrastructure, space travel is going to be again, enormous industry that basically does not have any limits. Okay. So, me personally, I'm getting some early exposure to it, but that's besides the point. The point is that Bernie, right, is so caught up in his ideology that he's not going after those who legitimately are just hoarding their wealth. He's going after those that are using their wealth to do something that requires a massive amount of capital. And they're doing it much more efficiently than the government is, right? Elon Musk has built reusable rockets, which has significantly lowered the cost of space travel, right? The most expensive part of space, guys, is getting off of Earth, right? Once you get off Earth, right, like it ain't that expensive anymore, okay? It's actually just getting off of Earth, right, and coming back to Earth is the most expensive part. And Elon Musk is helping solve that problem. Him helping solve that problem is going to make society better. Right. And also this idea that, children are going hungry in America. I'm not saying that there are no children that are not going hungry, that ain't eating bologna sandwiches and ramen noodles. I'm not saying all that. But is it really Elon Musk's responsibility to solve that problem? Right. If he doesn't want to do that. Or is it the responsibility and the fault of the government who has mismanaged resources and tax money, and also the responsibility of the parent who has probably mismanaged resources that has led to kids going hungry, right? I'm not sure if it's up to Elon Musk to just give away his wealth to just solve world hunger. That's something that leftists try to throw out there, like, oh, it is, a rich person's responsibility to end world hunger just because your net worth on paper says that you can do that. And Bernie's also talking about, we got to have a progressive tax system. We already got a progressive tax system, okay? At what point are these socialists gonna stop asking for more tax revenue and start talking about really cutting some spending and making the government more efficient, spending our money more efficiently with the money that we're already taking in, okay? These progressives never want to talk about all the waste, fraud, and abuse that the government spends their money on every single year and cutting some of that out, right? But they always want to talk about taking more money from the taxpayer. Like, the top 1% already pay 38.5% of all the taxes, period. The top 1%. The top 5%, right, including the 1%, pay over 50%. Right? So the top 5% of earners in this country already pay over 50% of the taxes. And Bernie's like, no, we want more. We got to take more. And I'm like, bruh, what incentive structure will they be for people like Elon Musk who actually are trying to change the world if you take all the resources that they need to actually change the world, right? This man is out here trying to fight climate change. Right? Something that you say is an existential threat. If you take all his money away and you give it to people who ain't trying to fight climate change, how you gonna fight climate change, Bolshevik Bernie? Come on now. Use some common sense, man. And also this idea of taxing wealth. Elon Musk's wealth and Jeff Bezos' wealth comes from their ownership of stock in their companies. It doesn't come from cash, right? Leftists have this idea that these billionaires, right, particularly these tech billionaires, are sitting on stockpiles of cash, right, and that they can solve world hunger with just one fell swoop. But they don't realize that these people don't actually have this amount of money. Jeff Bezos does not have $100 billion, guys. Jeff Bezos, technically, his net worth is over $100 billion because that comes from Amazon, right? It comes from the growth in the stock price of Amazon, right? His money, his net worth is not liquid, right? And even if he wanted to liquidate his assets in Amazon, it literally would take years for him to actually get access to that cash, just because the fact that he's a principal shareholder in the company and that there's a lot of regulations involved with him, liquidating shares of his company, right? There's a whole process that has to happen in order for him to actually get access to a lot of that wealth. And see, because liberals are financially illiterate, they don't necessarily understand this concept. This is the same thing that goes for Jeff Bezos. I mean, the same thing goes for Elon Musk. That's why people like Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, who run around here talking about a wealth tax, don't know what they're talking about, right? That you can't tax wealth, okay? Right? How are you going to tax somebody whose main source of wealth comes from the price of stock from companies that they own? Right? You're going to make them liquidate a portion of their company, right? When that liquidation could have significant negative effects on the price of that stock, which means that it could have significant negative effects on other investors in that company, which could be the average everyday person who's invested in the stock market. And that's going to hurt people's retirement accounts. That's going to hurt a lot of normal people who really don't have that much money, but have been smart and they saved their money and they have, been disciplined by investing in the stock market. So for all these leftists that want, rich people and corporations to pay more their fair share, then okay, cool. How about you close the loopholes and the tax loopholes that allow these people, right, to get away with paying less taxes than they should, right? I think that's the bigger problem. It's not about the wealth and the assets they've accumulated. It's about the fact that a lot of these companies have avoided paying their fair share through tax loopholes that are allowed by the government. Okay, So at the end of the day, government is the problem, because the government can solve a problem that they created, right? If they really want to. But instead, these people want to go after individuals instead of fixing the messed up tax system that they implemented in the first place. And again, obviously, guys, it's a little bit more complicated than that, because I do think there are tax incentives that, are useful for innovation and innovating in certain industries. But I do think there's some industries that are still benefiting from, some of these tax loopholes that no longer need to benefit anymore. Not trying to incorporate a wealth tax on individuals. And don't get me wrong, I'm not sitting here saying that, there are not some unfair advantages in society, right, that benefit the rich. Most of the things we do benefit the rich. But at the same time, you can also benefit from those things if you understand how those benefits work. Okay. And I think people like Bernie Sanders, are more focused on trying to make a statement, right, and trying to virtue signal rather than the actual good that's coming from a lot of innovations that these people are at the forefront of. For example, like Elon Musk. Okay, because Bernie Sanders talks about how climate change is an existential threat, but at the same time, he's trying to tax the wealth of Elon Musk, which has allowed him to fight this problem that Bernie says is such a big issue, right? It just doesn't make sense. And I think that going to Mars and trying to get to Mars is the next step. And I love the fact that the private sector is helping drive that innovation. I think that SpaceX is projected to get to Mars before NASA does. That's awesome. That's awesome, right? Bernie, I think, in my opinion, he needs to pick better billionaires to go after, right? Go after some of these hedge fund guys. Don't stop going after, you don't need to go after the Elon Musk of the world who, aren't just living a lavish life to be living a lavish life or just creating money out of money. He's actually, creating something that is good for society and driving innovation, which, is something that I 100% support. And if you can do that, if you're somebody that, is smart enough to get us to Mars, then you deserve all the wealth in the world, right? In my opinion, right? And that is what motivates people to be entrepreneurs. We should motivate people to become like Elon Musk. If you can innovate like him, you're going to be rewarded handsomely for it. That's the incentive of capitalism, right? So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.